France and Uruguay, folks. Rugby World Cup 2023. We're going to go through the match pretty briefly, some key events and stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. I'm going to keep it pretty brief because I'm a little bit sick, and so are my children who are in the other room. Not feeling 100%, but I thought I was maybe hallucinating at times because this match was much closer than it was supposed to be. France end up not getting a bonus point against Uruguay. It's a very similar scoreline to what France beat the All Blacks by, but a bit of a crazy game. I mean, overall thoughts on the game at 27-12, that's an underperforming French side and a gritty, hard-working Uruguayan side. What do I like about Uruguay from this game? Their defense at the breakdown was phenomenal. They caused France all kinds of trouble at ruck time. They got some really nice attacking players. Amaya, the fullback, he looked dangerous. Inciarte, the 13. Who was their 12? Villaseca. Yeah, these guys all look dangerous. Echeverri, Arata, these guys all look pretty dangerous, which was pleasing to see from an Uruguayan point of view. And France just couldn't get much cohesion going. They couldn't go through 5 phases without knocking the ball on, conceding a turnover. And then the penalty count in this game is horrendous, more than 30 penalties. There's more than 20 scrums. There's almost 30 lineouts. There's more than 13 mauls. So, yeah, the game was quite stop-start as a spectacle, but the fact that it was tight for a long period was, made it still watchable because you wanted to see, man, how far can Uruguay push this one? France got a penalty early, so 3-0, and then Freitas got the first try for Uruguay, so continue this habit of the underdog scoring the first try in these games. So, yeah, Villaseca with a big carry for Uruguay, and then a dink through for Freitas from Uruguay's attack. Nice try, 5-3, they take the lead, but France hit back not long later, dominant scrum getting on top. Astoy gets one from there, and then a penalty, so it goes from 3-5 down to 10-5 up to 13-5 up, and they're starting to look pretty comfortable. But then the game just kind of settles in. Talfa Fanua gets a yellow card, which was a borderline one with red. The commentary team I had was happy that it was yellow because they saw some mitigation with a dipping Arata who was tackled by Talfa Fanua. Kaltanana was pretty happy. I thought it was 50-50. If it had come back red, I wouldn't have been surprised, but it's a yellow for him. And then can the Teros punish during the yellow card? Almost. They did have one try denied, but when they had this nice backline move, Inciarte was pinged for a little bit of obstruction, which seemed to be pretty clear. So it's an unfortunate one for Uruguay that they couldn't punish France during the yellow card. But they had a yellow card warning of their own right before halftime because France were just knocking on the door. And Uruguay were holding on, and they showed some real heart to hang on for as long as they did. Eventually, France opt for a 5-meter scrum. It looks like they're going to punish because the scrum's been on top. And, a couple of phases later, they concede a penalty for obstruction of their own. So, France not really able to capitalize for a lot of territorial and position dominance. Like it was 66% position, 63% territory, and the penalty count was like 5-9. So Uruguay almost doubled the penalties. France's defense only had to make 24 tackles, but they were at 77%. So they missed a few tackles, even though they didn't have to make that many. Uruguay's attack was certainly looking pretty sharp in a few one-on-one situations. Uruguay had made 64 tackles in that first half, so a lot more, but also at a lot higher rate there. As I said, they were showing some good heart to hold on. Second half, that fullback, Amaja, for Uruguay, he certainly looks probably the most dangerous guy. He had a big line break to start the second half. France penalty conceded. Uruguay went for a maul, but they ended up coping up a turnover. France changed tactic on 47 minutes. We're not going for tries anymore. We go for a penalty because they can't really get things going. Crowd doesn't like the call, and he then Jaminier misses the penalty anyway. Villiers gets denied a try from a high ball. Like Luku was putting in some nice box kicks. Gillon just knocked it on with his shoulder, so it was ruled to be a knock-on. Otherwise, it would have been a pretty easy try for Villiers. And then, the French guys just looked a little bit uncharacteristically, a bit blunt. Jaminet runs it out of his own half, and then I think it's Cholero has a big carry. Uruguay just turned him over, man. Their work at the breakdown was honestly phenomenal. So, from that turnover play, they get a line out, they maul it, and then they almost get turned over at the maul, but they're able to spin it to the backs, and that man, Amaja, on 53 minutes, he scored a wonder try out on the right wing. So that makes it a 1-point ball game, 13-12. It has been messy. It has been ugly. It's been stop-start. But as I said, the fact that that scoreline is a 1-point game after like almost an hour is nuts. Well done, Uruguay. But they concede a try pretty much literally from the restart. Their kick clear hits their own player. Loose ball, Malvaca, who's come on, pounces on it, one-handed, great skills to take it, and then he goes over for a try. So that 1-point pressure period didn't last more than a minute, unfortunately, for Uruguay. So 20 points on the board for France. The pitch starts tearing up at scrum time, which puts the Uruguayan guys under a bit more pressure as well, but then they manage to win a scrum penalty of their own. And then 73 minutes, Biel Biarre gets a try. Finally, the French hands are able to hold without knocking it on, without giving away a turnover. They send him out over the right wing pretty much untouched. Makalu also gets one denied with a few minutes to go when he counter-rucks and is deemed to have kicked the ball through deliberately with his feet. Kind of an unlucky one. Maybe another 50-50, but yeah, he showed some real gas, but sadly for him, it is denied. So 27-12, no bonus point. And as I said, Uruguay, in some aspects of the game, looked phenomenal. Like the French conceded how many turnovers? Like multiple Uruguayan guys got a couple of turnovers in this game. They must have won 7 or 8. It was really quite incredible. Run meters are 404 to 273 to France. Turnovers conceded 13-11. I mentioned the scrums, 22 scrums, 28 lineouts, 13 mauls. Uruguay's scrum was at 5 from 9, and Uruguay's lineout was 15 from 19. So you feel like if they could have touched up a little bit of those, they would have been a bit closer. Penalty count is 15-16, which is horrendously high. 30 plus penalties in a game is massive. Like you'd usually be looking at it around about 20. So a lot of whistle from Ben O'Keefe. Clean breaks is 5-3 in favor of Uruguay. Their attack was honestly looking sharp. Villiers finishes with 51 meters, a clean break and 2 defenders beaten. Amaja, though, 55 meters, 2 clean breaks, 8 defenders beaten. Civetta has 10 from 10 tackles for Uruguay. Moefana has 15 from 16. But yeah, crazy. Didn't see that one being that close. Well done, Uruguay. A little bit of a moral victory. France, it's a job done. Their campaign is not going to be decided on this game. Some of the kind of second string guys, or the squad guys, if you can call them that, have not really put pressure on the starting guys with this performance, but it was good to see Gillot get through like more than 50 minutes of game time after his return from injury. It was good to see Makalu, really busy work rate, but yeah, we will see how these teams go in their next games. Uruguay have got Italy, which could be a little bit scary for Italy based on that performance, but we will see. Italy looked good in their game against Namibia. And speaking of Namibia, that's who the French have got next. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. I'm going to go over rest and then look at the squads for the upcoming games because, yes, a bit knackered. But anyway, you guys take care. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.